distinguished members of the High Table and chief guests, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a pleasure for me to address you at this 4th India Spectrum Management Conference. I would like to thank the organizers for the invitation, and in particular my friend Bharat Bhatia for having invited me to join you today. This is the first time I can do it in person. In previous editions, I had to join remotely due to conflict of agenda. So I'm very happy to be here today and to see so many familiar faces. I always say that when I come to India, I am greeted by a bunch of smiling faces, which is really very heartening. So thank you very much for that. Let me start by recognizing the valuable contribution of the ITU-APT Foundation of India in supporting the work of the ITU. During its more than 20 years of existence, the Foundation has encouraged individuals and organizations involved in the ICT sector to engage in the activities of the ITUR and in the WRC process. Your contributions and your continuous commitment is very much appreciated. Dear colleagues, during the last years, more and more people have been using and deploying radio communication systems. But this increased demand requires that effective spectrum management processes be implemented. As you know, World Radio Communication conferences review and, if necessary, revise the radio regulations, the international treaty governing the use of radio frequency spectrum, and the geostationary and non-geostationary satellite orbits. The dimension of the last conference broke all previous records. Indeed, WRC 23 was attended by almost 4,000 participants from 163 member states and more than 150 other entities. It considered over 6,000 proposals to update the radio regulations. Let me briefly mention some of the key outcomes from WRC 23. The conference allocated additional frequency bands for international mobile telecommunications between 3,300 megahertz and 10.5 gigahertz in various countries and regions. These bands will be essential for the expansion of 4G and 5G services, as well as the future development of the 6G technologies. In the 6 gigahertz band, WRC 23 adopted a balanced approach between licensed and unlicensed uses, giving the flexibility for national and regional decisions on the designation of the band for RLANs or IMT. WRC 23 also allocated the band 470 to 694 megahertz, or part of it, for the mobile services. Decisions were made to enhance the capabilities of satellite communications and open new opportunities for the expansion of satellite-based services and applications, including telecommunications navigation and environmental monitoring. Let me share with you that the Radio Communication Bureau has already published the 2024 edition of the radio regulations. The publication is available in all the 6 languages of the Union, and I invite you to download it free of charge from the ITU webpage. The Bureau is in the process of updating its software applications to support member states in the implementation of the updated radio regulations that will come into force in January 2025. We are delighted to know that member states have already started to implement WRC 23 outcomes by way of revising their national regulatory framework. Towards this end, the Radio Communication Bureau has held a series of regional radio communication seminars and national table of frequency allocation workshops to assist member states in implementing the revised radio regulations within their countries and regions in an efficient manner. Dear colleagues, looking forward, WRC 27 is tasked to find solutions for 19 agenda items, out of which 80% are related to space and science services. One topic of great interest is direct-to-device communications between space stations and IMT user equipment to expand the reach of terrestrial networks. The conference will consider additional spectrum allocation to satellite service for non-terrestrial networks. Another topic is space sustainability. WRC 27 will consider equitable access to frequency bands on the fixed satellite service. The conference will also deal with spectrum requirements for science services, which have become increasingly important in tackling climate change. And finally, WRC 27 will look far beyond the Earth, and it will be the first conference considering spectrum for lunar communications. The 4-year study cycle in preparation for this conference, WRC 27, has already begun. ITU-R study groups and working parties are working towards the end of the year deadline to provide technical and operational characteristics, methodologies, and any associated protection criteria relevant to their incumbent services to be used for sharing and compatibility studies. The study period will also see the development of recommendations, reports, and handbooks on radiocommunication matters, such as the satellite component of IMT 2020, the IMT 2030 standard, popularly referred to as 6G, and non-geostationary and geostationary satellite technologies. I encourage you all to participate in the development of these technical studies. They will feed the draft CPM text and will be the basis of the ultimate decisions that will be taken at WRC 27. Ladies and gentlemen, radiocommunications play a crucial role in shaping India's digital future. The decisions of WRC 23 will influence India's telecommunication landscape, particularly in the areas of 5G, 6G, and satellite technologies. The preparatory studies for WRC 27 and the work of ITU-R study groups and working parties will contribute to the development of India's digital and space economies. I invite you to embark with us on this journey, further contribute to the work of the ITU-R, and help shape a more inclusive, connected, and innovative future for all. I wish you a productive meeting and fruitful deliberations, and I thank you very much for your attention.